Hey guys, so today we are answering a subscriber question, and the question in question was, Frederick, is it a good idea to move to another country to work at a startup? So let's get into it. Well, the way that I think about this has to do a little bit with you first and foremost. So because there are a few things that you should consider with this. I know quite a few. Well, I have a few friends and quite a few coworkers who has done this, and the red thread through all of this is that usually the people who do the best are the social people. So the first thing you should ask yourself is if you are the sort of person who can go to a new environment and start making meaningful connections with people. Because if you're not, and you're a little bit on the shy side or on the introvert side, odds are that you will be a little bit lonely, because when you get into your new company in this new country, wherever you're going, you should know that, you probably figure that out. You're going to start from scratch in terms of a social circle. It's likely that your company and the people working at that company are going to be your entire social circle. So if you have a lot of really nice and cool co-workers who you can make a meaningful connection to and start to hang out with, that's great, because as I said, they're likely going to be the first people that you start hanging out with. But if you want to kind of root yourself in that country, it's a very good idea to be that sort of person. Maybe it doesn't really matter to you all that much, and maybe you already have other people that you have a meaningful connection with, but it's something to consider at the very least. So apart from that, the second thing to consider is, well, basically you're going to have to check the company itself. Now this is just a generally good idea, I would say, because the fact of the matter is that a lot of startups fail. They do, and it depends on the startup itself. If you have a fairly mature startup with a fair amount of people, there is no problem. Like, it's the thing that you're going for here is to figure out partly if it's a good office culture, if there's if you would enjoy working there, but it's also about money, and that's the sad truth. If you go into a startup very, very early, odds are that you will work very hard and under very chaotic circumstances with a lot of uncertainties. And that's okay for some people, and it's not okay for some people. So you have to ask yourself how much security you need to feel before you make a move. Because, as the person who's making the move to another country, you're taking a bit of a risk as well. It's not just the company in this scenario. So I urge you to make sure that you check in the interviewing process how much funding they have and how stable they are, to get a feel for that sort of thing. Because it will determine how likely the company is to survive and what type of working environment you're going to have. And then lastly, I think that something that you should consider as well is where you are right now, what type of work-life situation you have, and living arrangements and stuff of this nature. Because if you're going to make a move into another country and you're going to bet everything on a company out abroad, I think it's a good idea to really have a fairly stable life where you are right now. So never ever give up on your current living arrangements in where you live right now before you've had a chance to work for a few months at that other company. Because if something were to go wrong, or you feel that this is not for me, it's very good. You need somewhere to return to, unless you want to stay in that specific country because you're betting on the country and you just want to find yourself another job. So what I want you to take away from this is that, first and foremost, ask yourself whether or not you will have, if you're the sort of person who can make new friends and meaningful connections in a new environment. Because in the beginning, you're only going to really hang out with your coworkers, and that's okay unless you have other friends and stuff of that nature. Maybe you do in that region or country. And secondly, you should also consider the stability of the actual company. That's very important. How much, if it is a startup, you should know that a lot of startups are run by fairly junior profiles, people who are ambitious but inexperienced, and money is usually a little bit tight. So make sure that you check up on funding and all of this good stuff. And then lastly, make sure that you have if something were to go wrong, or you feel that no, this is not for me, maybe I should go somewhere else, that you have a place to return to. So don't like sell your apartment or whatever housing situation you have before you validated at least for a few months that this is for you and that you really enjoy being in this country and working for this company. That's at least the way that I see a lot of my coworkers and past friends and so forth deal with this. And I mean, if you just play your cards right, it's going to be a lot of fun to try out living somewhere, like living in a new country and working for a new company. So just make sure that you cover your bases and you're going to be fine. Have a great day.